Hi guys, welcome to my live book reading of my book Freedom of the Soul, Fly Like a Bird. Woohoo! On June the 20th, 2021. It's been a little while, but here I am back again. We're still on the law of opposites. So today's chapter is called A Skeptical World. Now, we live in a world where there is a place for all viewpoints. I think we call it freedom of speech. But the most important thing for me, remember that I'm reading it from my book here, is that as long as you are thinking for yourself and verifying your ideas on what you experience to be true, then that is a healthy track, in my opinion. I remember reading somewhere a few years ago that we live in a world where we're overwhelmed with choices. Is that a good thing? A psychologist actually pointed out that in a study, it's actually better to pick from a smaller selection of choices and accept one of them than to be, as humans, overwhelmed with loads. You know, and we are in our society constantly bombarded with information 24/7, and that's so key to recognize. You know, the continual TV, radio promotion, the advertising, the marketing, it's in the pore of our lives, telling us what we might like to be, what we might be aspiring to, what we should be eating, what we should be buying, how we should be thinking. So remember, the chapter today is called The Skeptical World, the Law of Opposites. I believe the issue is that it actually takes a strength of character to decide for yourself, rather than pick a preference of options handed to you on a number of platters. It takes willpower and clarity of thought to unpick the good stuff from the rubbish. And it's so apt at the moment, isn't it, really? And we all know how excellent people are at succumbing to option and temptation. It's all around us, isn't it, to be fair? You press of a button and, you know, you can have anything in this day and age. You know, we get fat, miserable and happy on it all the time, being spoon-fed. The enticement and attraction of living the marketeer's dream is an appealing proposition, I would suggest. But who is this fucking demigod marketeer anyway? And see the emphasis on the word demigod. Who gave this demigod marketeer the holy grail of our dreams anyways? So we all go swinging on this merry-go-round, chasing the dream of the demigod marketeer's vision, whilst in the same hand the cynics amongst us draw the sharpest blade to puncture and deflate the real passion and aspirations we keep secretly locked in our hearts, because they don't fit the marketeer's dream of what's been suggested. Often we keep them hidden, lest the detractors and doubters cast their eyes on it and put out the flame that flickers so silently there. You know, I know for me, it was a constant battle to keep my head afloat amongst my disparagers and critics. But I will say that I did and said what I need to do to protect my flame and nurture it. I still do. And I would suggest we all do, in spite of others' pessimistic efforts to get me to see things their way. And see that I was on hiding to nowhere because I was following my own dream and my own passion. And every single successful person who has ever been there will say that they remained true to their vision. And you know, you have every right to this, and you are entitled to have your own way of how you want to live your life. Within the moral, grounds, obviously. As long as you're not affecting human life. It matters not a stitch if your efforts have not yielded a crop, or that no one else has done it for. Because people will say, how can you, of your age, your sex, or your background, hope to achieve what you've set your heart on? When they don't know where the feeling's coming from, where the motivation's coming, what your vision is. Ignore, 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 ignore. Every successful, the skeptics will come in with their harsh, negative urging for you to abandon your dreams. But if for a second you could see that you can do it, even with all the obstacles you face, then what excuses do they have for the regrets they have deep inside of themselves, masquerading as self-assuredness? Often your success can threaten another as it reflects to them what they could have achieved had they dared to. I have certain friends and family that have walked this fine line with me. For example, I had a friend who I asked to send an item over to the US when I was travelling out there and trying to pursue my dreams. And he remarked to another friend of mine, well, it's all very well and good, isn't it? But she's not earning anything, is she? There's that marketeer's demigodness. Another friend commented on how I seemed to have gone backwards with my plans to set up my own business. And I'd invested it all heavily with my savings, and how he was in fact doing better than me. A flippant comment, but it cut deep. A close family member. Well, who do you think you are? Famous or something? Do you think you're going to appear on something in the UK called the Jonathan Ross Show? It's a primetime TV chat show. Taking the piss, as we call it in the UK. It was hard at times to hear these people say these things. They were unsupportive and cynical. Maybe they were just worried that I was going nowhere fast. Now I understand. It's always you that has to have the vision and stay true to your course. And I had to learn to be strong. This is my journey, not theirs. There are still friends and family, and I will never change their worldview that think like that. And I now know that's okay. And it was me who changed. Again, I would suggest this is every successful person's journey. Efforts that have yet to yield a crop. Beware of jealousy and bitterness disguised in many forms around you to trip you up on your road to success. This is the real world we live in, and we must learn to navigate these hurdles too, in amongst the many other demands as we travel on this road to the freedom of the soul. Fly like a bird. Woohoo! And so you learn. You toughen up. And there is the lesson in that which is priceless. There is so much truth in the saying, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Michael Corleone, in the Godfather series, famously said this, as told to him by his father, Vito, in the character. But apparently the actual origin of this quote is from Machiavelli in the infamous work The Prince. Know what antagonist you are up against, so you ensure you are protected against getting ambushed, or well, at least you are prepared for the sting. This is a very hard pill for me to swallow at times, as I allowed myself to get into situations to be taken in by flattery, fair weather friends and family who had no vision or had let their dreams die a long time ago, who actually lacked the courage of their convictions, or maybe they were actually in fact just great procrastinators. I got to know who my real supporters were, and as you know, often you can count them on one hand. There were many others with agendas or disingenuous. I will say, just to be polite, I will temper this with the fact that I was also lucky at times to have a handful of people, one or two, that had nothing to gain or lose from me. They just told me the truth from their perspective. And I saw how this was true alliance. In the end, my friends, you have to decide who is genuinely with you, batting on your team, and who's actually against you. Even though often, to the eye, it's rarely obvious at first glance. It's the skill. So we have the most to learn from these encounters. They teach us the most. You should know that back in the day, the challengers' dreams were probably doused out when they still had that joy in their heart. And they know they gave up when they should have found the gall to go on anyway. Just been my métier repeatedly. It's really simple as that. Once you've been wounded, you'll learn pretty fast. Trust me on that one. Your detractors, they don't want to see you succeed. Not because you cannot. The reason is always along the lines of primal behaviour. If you succeed, they lose somehow, or it makes them look weak, and it's a power thing. Primal behaviour. Understand this and you're on a winning streak. This type of behaviour is designed to stretch your spirit and test your mettle. Prove you know the game. Remember, I'm a life coach. I'm here to motivate, inspire and delight you. But importantly, know you'll never have to be like the twisted skeptics who want to kill your passion. You can just know that they still have a lot to learn. You will continue to fly. Freedom of the soul, fly like a bird with the wind beneath your feet. If you begin to play their game, you will end up with their outcome. Be savvy, never revengeful. Your success will speak volumes in the end, and your heart will know the truth. I'm a big believer in this. Heart-centered everything. And I know how this can hurt sometimes, like hell. Because it's necessary. I have been on the end of ferocious defamation, belittlement, and have had my name slurred and smeared. These attacks were malevolent in nature and full of spleen. My acerbic abusers were practically dripping with venom with their scathing words. Such was their vindictiveness towards me. But I survived. I never retaliated as such. Maybe a little bit. And walked away. A person who will remain nameless decided to go on a social media rampage on me. a person that I had respected and held in high esteem. That was when, but then when the shit hit the fan and his bullshit was revealed to all, he went on a Twitter rant calling me every name under the sun. And when he spoke to me on the phone, he actually threatened me. His voice was a little bit shaky. And I'm sure to this day he made me out to be the guilty party. He, of course, is entirely innocent. I can't put into words how much that stung and hurt me, and it took me years to recover fully inside. Moments like that define who you become when someone takes a sledgehammer to your heart. I certainly learned a lot from that one, and I take responsibility for any part that I may have played in that fiasco. Comparing yourself to others will only make you bitter or vain. Chase the dream, not the competition. There's a little quote by Jay Sean, who's a British music artist. Their cynicism is just a shield for their own insecurities and fears. Concentrate on overcoming your own. Trust me, that's enough work. Let others get on with theirs. Let them create what is meaningful to them. We can only look after ourselves. Stay true to your passion, but be vigilant of others. Deal with them swiftly, but beware of their motives, and on you go, my friend. Here I am, Rita Sangha, life coach, freedom of the soul, batting on your team, inspiring and motivating you to be the best version of yourself. You'll always encounter people who want to put you down. Step over them. Keep going. As you know, I'm wary of being over sentimental, but good always does prevail. But that is the long game that you have to play out. The long game, my friends. So this is why the law of opposites. Sometimes there is nothing in front of you to hold on to. One must believe. It's the stuff of great movies and myths. The story of the underdog is the one we British epitomise. This analogy of the underdog. We will learn as much from our own doubts, lack of conviction and sadness as we will do from our wins. It's never always about the bravado. Our vulnerabilities give us great insights as to the way others treat us. An art critic put it this way about a self-portrait by Rembrandt in later life, where he seemed to denote these qualities of hesitation about himself regarding his skills as a great classical artist. People are as interested in people's weaknesses as they are in their strengths. Doubts are as compelling as strengths, and the real hero is sometimes the underdog. This aligns perfectly with what I suggested in earlier chapters, that this is the nature of essence, the law of opposites. That which is in front of you is not how it is. This is the good and bad of our human condition and the artfulness of the divine in motion within us. To take misanthropists to the next level, where some individuals choose to go on a mission to seek to expose faith healers, psychics and such like, where hard proof, everybody often wants proof. Where's the evidence? I have come to realise that given life has inhabited this planet according to science for millions of years now, we still have no concrete proof of the supreme intelligence or God. People are still searching for that. Because please, people, how would this be the nature of God? If indeed we have projected man-made notions onto essence, that it should be a living, breathing, physical being like us. God should be human. How short-sighted and very foolish and human of us to make such an assumption. Why would God want to give us proof of her existence when nature requires us to prove that we do indeed believe in her, God? As a somewhat well-known magician or expose of fakes said when asking a famous psychic to put herself up for testing, this doubter, these proven individuals can engage with the forces of the departed in order to advance our race, help us find peace amongst ourselves, and understand the nature of eternity by revealing themselves in evidence as we would expect it as humans. I would suggest that this is never how the cosmos works, under some sort of command from us that it reveal its true nature to us. I would suggest it is the other way around. We have to get to know our true selves through exploration and error. And collectively, if we are so smart, how is it that there's not peace on earth yet? I mean, I have a whole different idea about where we are on that right now, but we'll stick to the book right now. I would suggest that we are still learning on that one. Kind of mind programming acquiescence that goes on. And then again, God would not get some geezer who died 5 years ago to impart internal wisdom about the mechanics of the universe so we can advance our race. I ask you though, hasn't our planet done enough technological advancement? How about some progression of the soul, people? How about some progression of the soul? Freedom of the soul, fly like a bird. Woohoo! Enough with the folly. The Supreme Intelligence knows better than that. And it knows us. This kind of ignorant sidestepping of the real issues that need handling, that have been happening since the first caveman squabbled with his neighbour. Please. But of course, you know, we believe what we want. It's entirely optional. If you're happy with your lot and the world that you live in, then good for you. I'm only here to inspire, provoke, and be devil's advocate. Perhaps not the devil. And if you have all the answers because your science or your religion, whatever that's based in, tells you so, then please do carry on, apart from the one obvious one. And if one day you hope to prove or disprove with scientific evidence God or the afterlife, then good luck to you. Success that speaks volumes. But please allow others to make their choices and decide what they like to believe, like you have chosen yours. Please don't push your agenda. We never all need to do the same thing. It would be impossible. Some of us do not have to have solid evidence because guess what? We have our faith, whatever form that manifests itself, and that is enough. The mind of a faithless cynic is like a crazy elephant, says, it's a quote from the Sri Guru Granth Sahib, which is a Sikh book of religion. And another quote, and the Lord is like sugar spilled into the sand and the elephant cannot pick it up. So smart and so clever. Sri Guru Granth Sahib. Keep your taunts about our naivety or your way being the only way to yourself. Or please do share it with your like-minded pals. I certainly at times had a stomach full of it. the demigod marketeer, remember? So yes, my friends, part of my trip was to circumvent, to learn, to do battle and smile wryly at the games of others, and play the double jeopardy card called life, and keep calm and carry on in this skeptical world we live in. Okay guys, that's the end of my Freedom of the Soul, Fly Like a Bird. Point to remember today: I believe the fact that it takes a certain strength of character to make decisions for yourself, rather than pick a preference handed to you on a number of platters. And you will never own your vision if you don't do this. And it matters not a stitch if the results of your efforts have yet to yield a crop, or that no one else has done it before. In the end, my friends, you have to decide who is genuinely with you and batting on your team, and who is against you. But importantly, know you never have to be like the twisted skeptics who want to kill your passion. You can just know that they still have a lot to learn. You will continue to fly with the wind beneath your feet. If you begin to play their game, you will end up with the same outcome. Be savvy, never revengeful. Your success will speak volumes in the end, and your heart will know the truth. Love you all. And on this penultimate day before the auspicious day of June the 21st, 2020, which is the longest day of the year and the summer solstice, genuinely I wish you all freedom. Freedom in your mind and your soul, that you wake up to the truth and you see with your own eyes the truth around you, and we can all begin to create a beautiful world. So here I am, Rita Sangha, life coach, Freedom of the Soul, here to motivate, inspire and provoke. Bye for now.